do not just send marketing out once a week. You're going to have really inconsistent lead flow. It becomes much more difficult to scale. You might have to hire people faster because you have too many leads coming in at once because you're bulk sending your marketing. 90% of our business is the same thing. We know very predictable. We know what's going to work. The other 10% is testing things out, testing different strategies, different marketing campaigns, all these different things. And then when something does click, when something does work, you throw that in, and that's part of that 90% now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Ron Apke, by myself today, talking about something really, really important. And a lot of people's goals when they get into land flipping is to go full-time in land flipping. So that's what I wanted to talk about today is the three key factors, the people who have gone full-time from working a W-2, from working whatever job it is, the people who have gone full-time into land flipping who might have just got into it 6-8 months ago. What are the three key factors that I see? What are the three key factors, not just from a skill set or any of that, like what three key factors help someone transition? What do you need to do to transition from a full-time job to land flipping full-time? And I know a lot of people listening here, maybe you joined the program, I don't know, maybe you joined the program a year ago and that's your goal 2025. Maybe you haven't done any land flipping, but you're looking for a way to get out. A lot of different situations for sure. But let's get to it, guys. This will be a quick one. Number one is resiliency, without a doubt. And this is not land flipping. This is if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to be a full-time entrepreneur where you don't have that safeguard of a paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever the situation is. You don't have the safeguard of that. There are going to be ups and downs in this business. Really, like I said, in any entrepreneurship endeavor, you're going to have ups and downs. So resiliency, this isn't a skill by any means. This is a personality, it's a character trait. You can definitely grow into a resilient entrepreneur if you're not very risk tolerant at first. Like, you can become risk tolerant as you grow an entrepreneur. It's something you can 100% work on. I'm someone who 4 years ago, I wasn't very tolerant of risk in business. I tried to stay away from it, and I really am the complete, I don't want to say complete opposite today, but I've definitely transformed that character trait because sometimes you do something, if you believe in the decision you're making and it goes the wrong way, like you believed in it, you made an educated decision. Where I find people go wrong is when they make quick, uneducated decisions, and then it hurts them financially, and then they do a bad deal, and then whatever the situation is. But resiliency, there's ups and downs to everything in entrepreneurship. Resiliency is, as a whole, I think it's probably the most important trait to be a full-time entrepreneur, where you're relying on yourself to pay the bills. You're relying on yourself pretty much for everything. Going into number two, and this one is, again, I think you can probably relay it to all forms of entrepreneurship, but we talk about it so much, is consistency. And when we're talking about consistency, we're talking about doing something every day to move your business forward. Marketing consistency is huge. And to really transform into a full-time land flipper, you need consistent marketing. This is the number one thing in terms of like the business. How do you make money consistently? You need to market to sellers consistently. You need to be having consistent deal flow. If your marketing flow struggles, you're going to have struggling deal flow, which means you're going to have struggling money flow, cash flow. And those three things go hand in hand. It all starts at the top with the marketing going out to sellers. If you have inconsistent marketing, if you send marketing today and then you take 4 weeks off and then you take 6 weeks off and then you send it the following week, whatever it looks like, if it's inconsistent, it's going to be much harder to in a business that's already hard to predict consistency in terms of deals, in terms of profit. It becomes so much harder. I know for my business, when I look at it at scale, I'm going to get about a deal for every 2,500 mailers, every 4,000 to 5,000 texts. I'm going to get a deal. So if I can be consistent, it's pretty predictable. Yeah, you don't know exactly what the size of each deal is going to be. You got to work the phones. You got to make sure you're doing those types of things and growing the business. But if you're inconsistent with your marketing, you're going to have inconsistent cash flow. And I hear it all the time from people who are like in a rut, quote unquote rut. They're like, yeah, I haven't done a deal in 3 months. Like, okay, let's back up. And with our coaching students, even, I say, let's back up. Let's look at what your marketing looks like the last 3 months. And 9 times out of 10, when their deal flow is struggling, you look at their marketing and their marketing is just all over the place. They sent 5,000 texts one month, and then they sent 1,000 the next month. They sent 3,000 pieces of mail one month, and then they didn't send any the following month. And they're just not doing the actions consistently, which is going to lead to inconsistent things on the back end. Going into that even more, like if you want to make your cash flow more predictable, for me personally, like I think you should be sending marketing out every single week. If it's mail, if it's texting, whatever it is, you want to break it into as short of intervals as possible so it spreads out your deal flow. It allows, think about the difference. If you're sending 1,500 mailers every week, 6,000 a month, but 1,500 a week, that is a lot more scalable to go up to 2,000 than if you're sending 6,000 pieces of mail on the 15th of every month, because then all your leads come in at the same time for that 6,000, opposed if you're sending weekly, your leads come in sporadically throughout the month. If you're really trying to be super, super efficient, if you're trying to be scalable, if you're trying to be really, really consistent, really grow this thing up, weekly is tough. Weekly is definitely tough. Bi-weekly, worst case scenario, do not just send marketing out once a week. You're going to have really inconsistent lead flow. It becomes much more difficult to scale. You might have to hire people faster because you have too many leads coming in at once, because you're bulk sending your marketing. You're reaching out to whatever, 6, 8, 10,000 people every month at the same exact time. So then you get all these responses at the same exact time, opposed to doing 1,500, 2,000 every single week. You're going to have much more consistent deal flow. But that is number 2, guys. It's hard to leave your job. It's hard to quit your W-2 and become full land flipping if you're getting a deal every 2-3 months, or some months you get a deal, some months you don't. It's a lot more nerve-wracking. But if you can look back at your last 6 months, you've been consistent with marketing and you're getting 1 deal every month, maybe 2 or 3, like that's a much better spot when it's predictable, like you have consistency, and then the next 6 months after you quit your job aren't as scary. The people who are able to leave their job, like, okay, they have a history of doing deals every single month. They have a history of making $10, $15, $30,000 every single month for the last 6 months, and they understand what it takes to do that moving forward. So they feel comfortable leaving their job, and that's a really good place to be. Number 3, third factor is, without a doubt, is continuously learning, making adjustments, testing new things. It's learning encompasses a lot in my mind. It's not just paying for education. Like, it is adjusting things. It's testing things. It's A/B testing your marketing campaigns, your direct mail campaigns, your text campaigns, like continually to learn and adjust. And then going bigger picture than that, the business model is always going to keep changing. Like, it is. Like, it's not the same that it was 12 months ago. It's not the same that it was 24 months ago. There's still people making $100,000, $150,000 every single month in this business. So if you're able to adapt, if you're able to continuously learn, make adjustments in your strategies, maybe you weren't survey hacking 6 months ago. You're like, Ron and Dan are really pushing survey hacking. I got to actually learn this. I got to test some things. I want to try this out. Am I saying throw everything in to one new niche of the business? Absolutely not. But trying some new things to grow. And when things work, something works, you double down on it. That's the thing. Like, we do 90% of our business is the same thing. We know very predictable. We know what's going to work. The other 10% is testing things out, testing different strategies, different niches, different marketing campaigns, all these different things. And then when something does click, when something does work, you throw that in, and that's part of that 90% now. So continually to test, continually learning. If you took our course 24 months ago, 3 years ago, and you're like, I'm just going to keep on doing the same thing, yeah, maybe it's going to work, but you're not growing. Like, you want to be growing with the business without a doubt. And that's what's going to make you, that's what can take you from $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month, doing bigger deals, learning how to do bigger deals, learning different strategies where you can acquire more big deals. Is a huge, huge case. Maybe it's one-on-one coaching, something like that. Whatever it is, like investing in your learning, not just and investing in your learning is not just like invest in a coach. Like, you can do that, absolutely, and it's going to help you. but it might just be investing in testing some things out, investing in a ChatGPT course, investing in an AI course, like trying to learn different things, different strategies so you can grow your business. And sometimes it's not necessarily directly related to land investing. Sometimes it might just be like, I need to be more efficient in my life. Like I need to be able to be more efficient. Should I still be scrubbing like this anymore? Could ChatGPT help me? Could AI help me with take some things off my plate? Whatever it is, learning and making adjustments as an entrepreneur is so important. And if you are complacent from where you were 24 months ago, the market's going to catch up to you and it's going to hurt. But overall, like these are the three things: resiliency, consistency, and learning are the three things that I continually see. And we get messages every week. I just quit my job. Thanks. I just quit my job. Thanks. And it's really credit to them. It's not anything about what we did for them. It's credit to them for making the adjustments, sticking to it, being resilient, being consistent, continuously learning, all these different things. Are there other factors that go into it? 100%. But if you're trying to do it in 2025, these three things, I'm telling you, like you can definitely leave your job if you hold true to these three things in 2025 and beyond. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I put a link for a consultation. If you're not currently a member, I put a link down in the description below for a consultation. If you're interested in our one-on-one coaching, anything like that, schedule a consultation with us. Other than that, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, share this with a friend, leave us a review. It helps so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.